Hello, everyone. Again, officially saying hi. We are still waiting for people to join, but until they are going to show up, I just wanted to. I mean, I know you like David is still driving, so we're still waiting a little bit for this energy to form. So I'm thinking what else to talk about, so nobody misses out on the story that I want to share with you today, and not to repeat it either when everybody has come and they arrive. So, what are we going to do today? I want to talk about some good things. Also, I want to mention that tomorrow I will just repeat when the rest arrive. But tomorrow, guys, is a very important day. There are, if I know well, 3 days in total in the year where it's so powerful to manifest. They are called 10 million fold days. So actually, the power that your awareness and what you wish and where you are being and living that day, it unfolds 1 or 10 million times faster or more powerful than any other day. Now, these days are coming from Buddhism, and they all related to Buddha. And one of them is his birthday, the other one is his enlightenment day, and then there was like I don't know what day. So basically, all of these are related to something in relation to his celebration, and they are considered very very powerful in the Eastern civilization. So I wanted to tell you this. So, and I'm going to tell you how you can max out tomorrow. So you really, really align with what is able to do. First of all, obviously, when you know this, that's already a big thing because then you can bring this power into your life. You can accelerate any manifestation that you want. So this is what I want to kind of talk about how you can do that. Um, for example, in my case, there is a Hungarian group that I have been doing some translations for as well, and they have a lot of things. And tomorrow they're also doing a meditation, like a group meditation, just because of this day. And it's a manifestation meditation that they're going to do. So all communities, or some communities, I would say, who are aware of this 10 million fold day, they are using it to accelerate manifestations. So, I don't know where everybody is because I really feel so excited to go into what I was bringing for you today. It's all related to this one exact topic. And one thing that I also wanted to ask you, uh, and everybody who's going to listen back to this, I have shared with you two things last week. One was the sourcing meditation, which I am going to ask you to use it tomorrow. That's in the 5D Messenger group. And also, I shared with you a post, which was quite a long post. And my question is, have anybody read it? Like, have you Renate read that long post, the last one that I shared on the Messenger group? No. Okay. Guys, it's so good. Like, it actually sums up everything we talked about the last 6 months, everything. It's a post so well written. And when I read it, I was like, oh my God, like this, I have to share with you. Go read it, read it. What I would suggest, if you, Renate, for you, or David, both of you actually, what I would do, I would copy and paste it in ChatGPT and translate it to Spanish. So you are able to actually, or German, or whatever you want. So you can go beyond that limitation of the language and the words that are being used. So you actually are able to understand it on a deeper level. It describes, it's a transformation of a guy who his entire life was believing one thing about himself, and and how that thing that he was believing about himself was creating this reality that he was not his desired reality. Let's put it in a less nice words. And he was creating a lot of lack, a lot of illnesses, a lot of physical problems, a lot of problems and challenges and struggles in all areas of his lives. And he heard about Neville Goddard. He heard about the law and the law of attraction, but he kind of played with it on and off. He had like small successes, and then he just kind of forget about it. And then after like 8 years, he came back and then he said, okay, now I'm ready. Now I want to understand. And I just really want to create a completely new life, a completely new reality. And that's what he did. And he shares in this post his journey, but mostly related to his journey in the like in the physical body, how his inabilities or disabilities changed, how he was able to go and completely shift his entire reality in a few months, which is the complete opposite of what he was experiencing his entire life. So it's 20 years of this shitty experience in a few months completely turned to the opposite in all areas of his life. So this is what we've been talking a lot about here. But every time when I find a good resource, I'm like so excited to share with you, because the more you hear, the more you listen, the more you understand, the more you have this like, wow, then obviously that sinks deeper and deeper in you, and creates that mind shifts. And you just get it, right? So all you need is like those aha moments of like, oh, whoa, like now I'm really getting it. So hello, Leonie. Hello, Claire. Good to see you guys. Okay, so what I was talking about, and just Claire, because you just joined, I'm going to repeat then what I was talking about. So hello, hello. And so first of all, what I wanted to say that I'm going to share with you a post, and I'm going to send it to you on WhatsApp. Um, and it's such a good post, guys. Like it really sums up everything we talked about in the last few months. It's just so amazingly written. It's the a post of an experience of a guy who has been suffering for 20 years, creating without end a reality that he did not like on all levels, all areas of his lives, just because he believed his doctors, just because he believed the people around him telling him that this is just how it is, things don't change, you just have to suck it up, that things, like illnesses, disabilities, stuff like that, they just don't change. And then it's just so beautiful the way he shares his inner story, right? Like what he was believing about himself, about his physical body, about his life, about what is possible for him, what he can do or cannot do, and how that was creating his reality. And now, after 20 years, when he said, I'm done, he completely shifted it. And I love this kind of stories, and especially something very, very good, very, very, very well written, is the way he describes how the law works. And we talked about this a lot in these last few months. Like there is this law in your life, this the way that you are creating reality, this divine energy, that when we say the universe, like everybody talks about the universe, but the way that works and the way he phrases is just so good. And how was able to shift, how he was able to change the identity, the story that he was telling himself, realizing that his life is just the effect of his inner reality, right? His inner story, what he's telling himself, what he's believing about himself, what he's believing about life in general, about his illness, his health, his, everything. And how he one day he said, stop. Like I stopped and I started to tell myself, inside of me, inside of my imagination, I started to create a new reality. And it's not going to give you, in a way, anything new. So that's why I thought I'm going to share it with you, because you will understand it. And you have to be at a certain level of consciousness to be able to understand that post. And that's why in the last few months you were being prepared, and you were being prepared, and I talked to you and I talked and I taught you all these things, so you go to higher and higher levels of understanding. So now this, I believe this post, it will really give you that thing that is going to push you even to a higher level. And one thought that I had today was like, maybe I am going to help you to understand the post, but I'm going to leave it first, that you go, you read it maybe a couple of times, or maybe you want to read it next day again, because it's so packed, like it's just so good. I sent it to Alice, actually, because she called me 2 days ago and she was a bit down, she was a bit confused, she was buying into the 3D reality. Again, guys, it's such an amazing reminder. You have nothing to do in your 3D reality. You have nothing to do with the life around you that's already materialized, because it's a consequence. So if you want to change anything, you change it inside of you, and then you stick to that change inside of your imagination without giving a fig about what's going on around you, because those situation conditions and all of that you see around you, it's already past. It's already a past creation. So this is also what he talks about, that he completely stepped back from what was going on around him, including his body. Like he knew that the way his body is showing up with the challenges, the illnesses, the disabilities, it's his creation. So in order to change that, right, he has to ignore what is already being created now. So that's when you understand that the only way you can create something new is you take off your attention from the created version, which is the past, and you redirect in your imagination, you redirect your focus to something else, the desired one, and you live in that imagined and desired reality all day, all night, because that is what is going to, this is exactly how he also did it, right? So he was always putting more attention, more thoughts, more affirmations, more pictures into that, what he wanted to. And then it's very beautifully written, very good English, the way that he said, my actual reality, right? So the materials, our physical reality was, I was weak, I was, like hopeless, my body was a wreck, I was like, it was everything the opposite. But in my imagination, I was strong, I was fit, I was happy, I was powerful. And then he stick to that, understanding that that's the source of his reality. And of course, what happened, he keep ignoring what the past, right? The past body, and then keep and the way he explains authority, like to take back your authority from the 3D, like you don't give your power away looking around your 3D reality to conditions and situations from your past creation, so you can actually create something new. So I really recommend that to you guys. It's in the Messenger group, and Claire, I'm going to send it to you as well. because it inspires you, and you don't have these huge creations that you want to make. But when you listen to a person's story who changed his entire reality of 20 years to completely the opposite in all areas, he like including his physical body, then that's what gives you like, wow, okay, like I can do it then as well. And especially he explains that is nothing specific about him. He's just read books about Neville Goddard, so he didn't do anything, right? So that's also very interesting. He didn't do anything but deciding and living in his imagination as if it was already his real reality, so to say. Okay, so before Claire and Leonie, you arrived, I was talking about tomorrow. Tomorrow is a powerful day in the Buddhism, in Buddhism and in the Eastern religions and Eastern what's the best word? Right, in the East. I say just that. And it's called 10 million fold day. And that what it means 10 million fold. Your power is 10 million fold more or bigger than in a normal day. As I said, it's all related to Buddha and his birthday. There's like 3 or 4 days in the year. One is his birthday, one is the day of his enlightenment, one is the day he died, and then the other day I don't remember what they are celebrating. So these 4 days, tomorrow is one of them. And it's the first of this year, the first 10 million fold day. So the way I would like you to approach this day so you can really, really harness the power of this day is to, in the morning, well, this obviously you can continue afterwards, but I want kind of a challenge of a 24 hours that we all do together. And tomorrow I want you to come into this in the morning, right? So you already know, you wake up in the morning, you know it's a 10 million fold day, so you really want to give your everything tomorrow. But how do you give your everything? Like first of all, I want you to start the day with the sourcing meditation, okay? Either if you've been doing this in the last week or not, just because why? Because it's 10 million times more powerful tomorrow than the days before. So you really want to start with those breathing. You really want to live for those half a minute in that desired reality. Now, I want to help you a little bit to identify more what it means, because when you're going to finish the meditation and you stand up from your meditation, you want to spend the next 24 hours in that fulfilled emotions. I would say live as if this is already done. And I'm going to bring you some examples so you truly understand what does it mean that, and you're able to actually start living that way. So I was thinking about a lot of different examples, and here are a few. So let's say, just to identify, I'm going to give you examples, but you identify it for yourself. In your case, what are those, that state of mind? So let's say that you are, okay, I'm going to go for few examples. So one example is money. So let's say that you have won the lottery. So you have won the lottery, you see the ticket, you have won the lottery, but there is a gap of time until the money arrives in your bank account, right? Because it doesn't happen right away. There is usually a transaction time, which can be, in our case, it's a month here in Hungary. So from the moment you go with your ticket, there must maximum 30 days that they are going to send it in your account. Now, give yourself a little bit of time, either now or, well, later, to really imagine, right? So how would you feel in those 30 days when you know you're going to get the money, but the money is not physically there yet? So there is a way that you would live those 30 days. Or another example, let's say that you really, 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 really want a dream job and you just got the call that they have chosen you. But you don't have to start for a month, right? Again, you don't physically yet see the job. You don't physically sign the contract yet, but you already know that it's yours. And then the way you're going to live that 1 month, if you knew it's already yours. Another example, let's say that you got a travel from somewhere. Okay, so of course, like it depends what you want. So what I want to tell you is that you have to find that place where you know what is your desire, and as if that has already happened, but there is a gap in the 3D until it appears, right? So for example, it's also like how would you feel if you got or you won a travel, or like to Thailand, for example, or you already know that you go to Thailand, or you go to wherever you want to go, but and you bought the tickets, but there's still like a month or 2 months until you travel, or maybe you won it, but it's not the time until a month or 2 months or 3 months from now. So do you understand? You already know it. You have no doubt because you know it. They called you, they told you, or a call where there's like, we're going to give you a raise, or I don't know, in your environment, whatever that is that you desire. So you have to find that sweet spot that you already know is yours, but it's you know that there is a processing time until actually physically appears in your account, or you actually start working, or you actually see that person in your reality. For another example that I got was like, if someone is looking for love, right? So it's that sweet point where, like you already know that, or like, of course, when somebody's looking for love, they're actually looking for maybe marriage, right? So it's that they already ask you. I know in this case it's not relevant for you, but they already asked you, but you're not married yet. So there is again a gap between a year almost, like they are like doing all the things and the processes. So go and find it for yourself. I'm happy to help you if you want to, like use me to find your clarity and that sweet spot. But that's how I want you to tomorrow, all day, 24 hours, to live as if that's already a done deal for you. So it's done deal. And then you're like, whatever you would do, okay, that's what you want to do tomorrow in the morning. After you did the meditation, you stand up from the chair as like, it's done, like it's happening, and there's nothing else for me to do. And then kind of, I would say celebrating, but many of us don't really celebrate. It's just normal. It's normal. It's like, yes. And then you start feeling it as normal. That's where I want you to be tomorrow. Okay, so that's the best way. Because why? Why, guys? Okay, again, when you're going to read the post, you will realize the big thing that the post gave me was that, like, the guy says, there is a difference. I listened to this, is so good. So she said, like, listen. So if you know that the law is all the time continuously reflecting you, right? That's what we know. It's continuously monitoring you, continuously monitoring the story you're telling. All the time is just reflecting you. So if you are in wanting all the time, wanting something, then you're going to create lack, right? Because you're not in. That's the difference between having something. If you have something, you don't want it, right? So then if you have something, you're going to have that in your 3D reality. If you're wanting something, that's how you know that you are not yet in that fulfillment and in the having. You are not acting as you are having it if you want it. And also, if you are desiring something, then you are not in fulfillment of it, right? Because if you desire, it means you don't act as if you have it. You don't act as if you are fulfilled. So that's what we need to understand, that when you did it, you know it's fulfilled. So you have to behave as if you are fulfilled, as if you're having that what you desire. So all of a sudden, then the waiting, the wanting, and the desiring stops, and you move into fulfillment and having. And that's why it appears in your 3D, because it reflects your fulfillment. And that's why for so many people, because they always stay in the wanting and then looking, when this appears, like it will never appear, because you'll keep creating the wanting, then the waiting, and the wanting, and the waiting, because you are being reflected. So you can't just stay here and waiting so it appears, because it's only you can appear. So that's a big like understanding of you are not separate, you are being reflected. So the only way you can create anything is if you become the having of that thing. You become the fulfillment of that thing. So you're not looking for it anymore. You just like, yeah, it's known. And if any of this appears in your like the way like you're like, oh yeah, but like a little bit doubt comes up, you give it to yourself in imagination, right? So you go, no, like I can fulfill myself in my imagination. I can imagine that I'm having it and then feeling the fulfillment. So I am not waiting for 3D, because I know 3D is me. So I can't wait for 3D to show me something that I am not. So I hope that is clear. That's why you have to live as if, right? So I remember that before we were doing this technique, saying like pretend something, right? Act as if, but live as if, it's even beyond that, right? It's beyond acting as if. It's just, like that's who I am, and that's how it works. If I say this is who I am, and then I believe and I do like that, then it has to appear. That's how reality works. So any of you have any questions? Do you want me to help you identify or any question around any of the things that I've just said? Then just unmute, ask, and I'm happy to help.
Yeah, Agnes, I couldn't read the article because I wasn't aware of it. I am not in Messenger. I think Leo can send it to me, so it's not a problem. But how long did it take for this person to totally change his reality, or
Few months.
several months? Oh.
Okay. So for like, again, he says it's varied, because for some people, some things are very, very fast. Like if you have time, this post is on Reddit. So when you open, you see that it's going to open in Reddit. And then in Reddit, there is also a Neville Goddard like a group. So people are posting a lot of success stories. I've read like 2, 3 of them. And so you will see, of course, like as when I was telling you a lot of my stories as well, that some of them can happen in few days or a week or 2 weeks or 2 months, but some of them need a little bit longer period. So it doesn't really matter how long. He also says, like in my case, and that's why he says in my case, because he was telling himself for 20 years the same story. So he needed like a few months to completely shift it. So he needed to kind of convince himself of the new story. Like he had to, it's not necessary, but he said like I was so, like like I had to kind of flip and then keep telling a new story, like keep seeing myself every day the way I wanted to see myself. So, you know, when you create for, if you have been doing a story for many, many years and that is has created a reality, you know, and then this is, it's normal the way your mind is wired now in that identity. It takes some time to rewire your mind to a different identity. So you have to start practicing a different identity. And the way you can practice it is in your imagination. It's in your words. It's keep telling like, or keep seeing yourself and saying like, oh, I am so grateful for this beautiful body, for this perfect health. And then in your head, see, because of course the 3D, he was in bed, you know, with like maybe unable to walk, very, very, you know, with, I don't know, with sepsis and stuff like yucky stuff like that. So of course, if he believes this is reality, he can never change because he gives away his authority, believing that the 3D is how it is, so you cannot change. But what he said is that like the 3D is not real, it's an illusion. I created it. So of course, if I created it, I can create something else. So that's when he took back his power from giving it to the 3D. And he said, no, I take it back and I create something else. So the difference between this understanding is that I stop looking at this yucky body, you know, and then in my imagination, keep seeing my body the way I wanted to see it. Right. So closing my eyes and then seeing myself walking, seeing myself, you know, hugging a person, seeing myself dancing, seeing myself skiing, seeing myself making love, seeing myself spending money, seeing myself, you know. So keep continuing in the imagination to see
Mm.
yourself and your life the way you want to, because that continuous seeing yourself in your mind, that's real, and that is where you create, where you basically choose, and then 3D eventually will start reflecting that. So his life started to change little by little, little by little, little by little. And eventually it was completely the opposite.
Yeah, I really want, I'm looking forward to the challenge. Yeah. Actually, I want to share that yesterday was like a shift for me, like after a meditation, I I don't know, I have like a realization of the next step to take. And today I was in flow, like very little synchronicities. I realized just before the call, it's like what the coincidence, pumping up again with this person, and like little things like this, but very nice transactions between people, like nice conversations, and how nice to meet this person. And you think why I did take this like you are like going to another for like by another route, and still you bump into another so yeah, I
Yeah,
think I'm
I
in
think I
flow.
know what you mean. That's very important to trust, like knowing that the moment you set what you want to create, that's already done. And the moment you stood up from the chair, everything is already shifting for that to be your reality. Okay, that's very important. Even though when things don't make sense, even when things seem to go the other way around, even though, like, no matter what, like, I really have to say that no matter what you see, you know, that's just has to be exactly the way it is because that's what needs to happen, and then it's taking you closer to where you want to go. One of my stories when um, I wanted to create it, sometimes the opposite will happen, but I wouldn't say it's not a test. The universe is not testing you. It's the path that you need to take in order for that to be your reality. So I again shared you many, many times that you want to be here, and then you already created it in your imagination, but the road there, sometimes it's like that, okay? And that's fine. So you just need to know either way you're going to get there, because that's how it works. Like the moment you set it up, it's done. So it's just the universe will show you. And sometimes it feels like there is like, oh, I've done this and this didn't take me anywhere, so it must be. No, it doesn't mean anything. Maybe you just had to learn something from that little path, but that path was not, it was not needing you to fulfill that until the end. I don't know if you get that, right? So you just had to go that little road because you've learned something there, and then that road finishes there, and then you go maybe to another road now. But so it's not straight line, okay? Just remember, it's nothing is straight line, because 3D is straight line, but you are in the quantum, right? So you put it out there and it's already taking you, and it's going to feel like you're jumping from here and there, and then like, this is weird, this is not weird, it's fine, it's perfect, okay?
Okay, let's try it.
So
Thank
you
you.
just are like, oh, that's interesting.
Mhm.
I don't know why, but it must be perfect. Okay. It's always great. And then you really need to know that whatever, if there's anything to be done, okay, the guy also talks about taking or not taking action. The way he's written is, I really love, because again, we talked about this, like, do I need to do something? Like, when do I need to do something? And he says, like, based on my belief, and that's also my belief as well, like, based on my belief, you don't have to take action, because reality is forming around you. Unless there is an action, like when there is something, there's such a big inspiration, and usually that's why we call it inspired action. Like, if you have to take any action, you will feel so inspired that you cannot not take it. And usually it's so fun that you will just, automatically do it. It's really something you're like, oh, I just feel so called to go for a run. So we really have to let go of the way that we believe that if I want to reach more money, action is going to be related to that concrete thing, like how to create a business or how to find a job or how to send curriculums, and it's not. Like, you really have to understand that inspired action can be anything, like you being sent to the shop, or you wanting to take another road back from the shop, or you feel like you just want to be out and take some sun, or you feel like calling somebody, or you feel just responding to a post because you feel inspired because somebody asked something. So, or just posting something on Instagram, or, and then all of a sudden, that's why you are called, because you is the universe or the law showing you the path. So that's why it's effortless, because you don't have to figure it out. It comes to you. But that's the next level, right? It's you really have to understand that the moment you set out what you want, it's inevitable. Like, it's going to come into your life, and whether it comes tomorrow, or it comes in a month, or it comes in 6 months, it's going to be exactly the time you need it. It's going to be exactly when you're ready, exactly. So the universe will help you to get there, no matter what. But it's really us relaxing, and it's really us trusting, and you're really saying, like, well, it's done, I have nothing to do, so I can just, let go, sit back, enjoy my life. And then when we understand that that's done, the moment you put it out there, it's done, you don't have to do anything, because it's you, it's consciousness, right? So you just inhabit that reality, and then you arrive in the having the fulfillment, and then you just are like that on a daily basis. It's not a big thing. Or I just got another example, like when you were admitted to the university, Like you celebrated for a day, 2 days, and then that was normal. You are a student at university, even if you have to start in 3 months from now. It's normal. You behave already like someone who was admitted. Like, so that's what you need to understand. The moment you did the meditation, the moment you put it out there, the moment you formulate, the moment you imagine what you desire, it's done. And now you just have to move on with life and allow it to come into your 3D. And the only way you do that is you being relaxed, right? That's how you prove, right, that you are so relaxed. It's like, yeah, I've done it, it's happening. There's nothing for me to do. If you are not relaxed, then you know that you're not really into the living, the embodiment of your desire. Because you if you've been admitted to university, you wouldn't call every fucking day to the you know whatever is that, the human, like, customer service, I don't know what, the administration center or office, like, but are you sure that I was admitted? You would, right? They told you you are, like, you got a letter. How many letters do you want? 100? You just know. And then you just are relaxed. You go have a beautiful summer because September you start school. That's how you need to, that's how you need to behave. Like, relaxed. It's done. Whatever that is that you desire. And that's actually, right, the time thing. That's when it accelerates. Because you're not holding it apart anymore with believing that you need to do more. You need to do more techniques. You need to, do 100 more meditations. Because if you believe you need to do 100 more meditations, you are not in the having and fulfillment of it, right? So it's very tricky. We believe, like, the universe said, well, I'm going to do one more thing. But it's like, if you have it, you wouldn't do one more thing, right? Like, let's say they admitted you to university and you got the letter, would you go back to take the another book and read it again? Like, I'm not sure I really understood that thingy. Like, you've already are admitted. Like, you would put the books in the attic like for like 3 months, or you would just really forget about them. That's where what you need to understand. You have to forget about it. Like, as long as you think there's one more thing to do, one more thing to read, one more thing to hear, one more technique, one more journaling, like, it's you tricking you. It's your mind saying you don't really believe it's already coming. You've done it. You have to let go. So letting go is that you stop doing anything. I have it. So if I have it, I don't have to want it. Okay, that's the one thing that when you understand. And that really reminded me of Alice called me 2 days ago. And she's like, and she was a little bit like this. And I'm like, Alice, you are looking at your 3D reality, giving it power. Take it back. You can change it, but you have to take it back, and you have to see that 3D is just an illusion and it's created and it's a past thing. It's like, oh yeah, oh yeah. And I'm like, do you remember with the house? And I was like, with the house when we manifested, right, in Cucugnan. And it was one day before we had to move, and we didn't have anywhere to go. And Alice was super stressed. It's like, yeah, but we have to find something. We have to find something. I was like, Alice, it's all being taken care of. She's like, how can you say that? It's like, but it is. I was like, it's going to be okay. It's always okay. It's always for everything always works out for us. That's what I said to her. And it's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, but I'm still going to call Claire and cancel the French class. So, like, I can't just sit there like this, my mind is everywhere now and I can't relax, right? And that's when she called Claire, and Claire, 50 minutes later, she came with with a key to our next home, which, by the way, it was the home that I said that I would love to live in. So it's just because I did not insisted that I want to live in the house. I did not insisted that we need to manifest something. It was just like, it's done. Like, I don't have to stress about it. And of course, the universe says, of course it's done and you don't have to stress about it. So it's always mirroring you. Always. Now, I hope this was helpful, guys, because I really enjoyed it. I really, like, I feel like we really need to talk a million times about this until it really sinks in and you're like, oh, of course. That's the gap where you have to be in that place that you already know, even though you're not seeing it yet. So tomorrow, use the time and the beautiful day and access and these energies and use it for your manifestation. So be it tomorrow, be the person who already has what you desire, so you can accelerate your manifestation. So thank you for being here today. If you have any question, anyone, I can still go one question more. If you have anything you want to ask. Yeah, Claire, do you want to ask me something? You have to unmute yourself then. Yeah, you tap. Yeah, if you're on, yeah, there you go.
Today is the lunar eclipse, and this month of March is creating all sorts of new things. So it must be a very, very good month for manifesting things.
Well, every moment is a very good
Right,
moment
but
for manifesting.
yes, just as tomorrow is a special day in Buddhism. So
absolutely, yes, it's lunar eclipse. We're going to have partial solar eclipse as well. We're also going to have a lot of planets changing signs. So March, like I've seen like 5 different crazy things happening in March. And probably the most powerful month of the year is March, and we still have, from those 5 things that happen this month, we still have 3 left. So so guys, like, it's really crazy this month. Like, I really inviting you to live like that, to live knowing that everything you want is on its way, and have like no freaking doubt, because then you just it will totally come. Like, this is how it is. You don't have to convince yourself. It's how it is. And it will start materializing for all of us very, 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 very soon, whatever you want. So just know that. Thanks, Claire, for that reminder. It was
there's some wonderful podcasts by Pam Gregory, who is an English astrologer, and she has she has all sorts of wonderful things to say about 2025 and all the changes that are coming. So
oh yeah,
very positive.
yeah, we are very positive. All the timeline shifts and million things, like they have been talking about 2025 as being the biggest shift in basically humanity's evolution and history. So yeah, that's why we are talking about this now. Okay, guys, have a great evening, and see you next week. And well, good luck for tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye, guys.